Hello lovely people, welcome back to my channel. I hope you are all well. I nearly bundled that up but we made it through. This time it's time for another review that's not a review. If you watched my last video or you've seen the title, you will know that we're going to talk all things Come From Away UK tour. So if you want to know my thoughts, my feelings and everything in between on this show, stick around and we'll get into it in 2 whole seconds. Welcome, hello, how are you doing? Let's talk all things Come From Away. Firstly, if you're new here, welcome. My name is Claire, this is Open Roads and Theatre Seats, and for each show that I see we do 2 separate videos. Firstly, the video that was last, which is the nervous guide to the show. Nervous guides are basically when I talk about my experience in the show, anything about the theatre that you may need to know, any sensory warnings, content warnings and anything like that, which will hopefully be helpful before you go and see the show. And then we have this video. This is the review video. I always put it in inverted commas, because I am in no way professional. I am purely here as a theatre goer like yourselves, and I just like to come back to the show, decompress, talk about it, discuss my thoughts, my feelings and everything in between. But in no way am I being like, hi, you need to listen to everything I say, because I'm in no way professional. I do this because I love theatre, simply. Now into the review. So we are here to talk about the Come From Away UK tour, which is currently touring up and down this very nation. Firstly, I have to say, finally. I am kind of the fan of this show. You might see behind my head I've got a flyer for this tour. I also have a picture of the, or a print if you will, of the Phoenix Theatre in full Come From Away get up if you will. I had the pleasure to see this show 3 times in the West End. It unfortunately closed in 2023. It broke my heart when it happened, and it's kind of, for me, felt a bit like a loss in my heart, because whenever I'm feeling low, this show is one that I definitely gravitate towards, even if it does on the occasion, including when I saw it at the Wolves Grand, make me quite emotional for various reasons. So when it closed in 2023 and they were like, don't worry, we're going to come back, we're going to be touring, I've been waiting very patiently for it to tour, for this tour to happen and for it to finally arrive in Wolverhampton. So this show has the book, the music and the lyrics by Irene Sankoff and David Hein. This show is based on what happened in Newfoundland in the town of Gander the day after the 9/11 attacks happened in America. Now, if you are of an age like myself and you remember what happened on that fateful day, the thing that you may not be aware of is that Gander was kind of home to a whole load of people it was not expecting in a very quick turnaround time, when 38 planes filled with around 7,000 people arrived on their doorstep without any warning. With this show being about quite a poignant thing, you would expect it to be very sad. However, this story talks more about the community and the respect and the support that happened for those people after that event. And it's told kind of both from the plain people's point of view, but also the people of Gander who made everything happen. And it's just put forward to you in such a lovely little tied up present of togetherness, and it's just such a good watch. I have seen this show previously. This was my 4th time seeing it after seeing it 3 times on the West End, and this was definitely an emotional return for me, not only because it is a show that had great memories attached to it through the West End run, but since the closure it's also had different aspects that have come together through that show that made it almost a little bit emotional for completely different reasons. But sitting in the theatre, I literally walked into the auditorium, stared at the stage, and it was like being home. That same set design or scenic design which has been done by Beowulf Burritt, and the costumes that were designed originally by Tony Leslie Jones were still there, and it just felt like no time had passed. And yeah, it truly highlighted to me how much I had missed that show and I hadn't realised. Creatively, it was all that I wanted. It was everything that I needed it to be, and yeah, it was literally like stepping back into the Phoenix if the Phoenix had shrunk, and it was just lovely to be back. Moving on to the cast, we had 2 standbys on for our performance. Playing the roles of Janice and others was Ashley Harvey, and playing the roles of Kevin, Jay and others was Kevin Yates. Always, it kind of amused me, I'm not gonna lie, when I saw that Kevin was going to be played by Kevin. I mean, why would it not be? But it just made me, it brought me so much joy. Both of those standbys were absolutely incredible. I always like the role of Janice, and I don't know what it is about her, but she kind of just brings me joy, and Ashley played her so brilliantly. Also included many others, and unlike normally when I pick out a few, I'm going to just name them all, so I hope you've got a cup of tea because it's going to take me a few minutes. Firstly, we had Mark Dugdale as Kevin T. Although I'd seen the show a few times, I had never had the chance to watch Mark in the role of Kevin. To sit there and see it live in the flesh after seeing him in that stunning checked red shirt in multiple different pictures and things like that, but to see it in the flesh was just so great. I'm so happy that I finally have got the chance to see Mark in that role. Playing the roles of Nick and others and Diane and others, try saying that quickly, is Daniel Crowder and Kirsty Hoyles. I am always a sucker for the pairing of Nick and Diane. I don't know if it's because they are a full-fledged, normal, actual human beings out in the world. I don't know what it is, but that story always just brings me hope as a singleton that there is someone out there for me. But they played their roles absolutely excellently, and I really enjoyed the relationship between the two as those two roles, and yeah, absolutely stunning. Playing Bonnie and others was Rosie Glossop. Amanda Henderson played Beulah. I really again enjoyed everything that she did. I also enjoyed her chemistry and her friendship with the role of Hannah, who is played by Brie Smith. Speaking of Hannah and speaking of Brie, the song that Hannah sings pretty much alone, called I'm Here, kind of broke me. There was something about the way that Brie sung that song. It was just so emotional, and you were already attached to her by that point in the show that you were like, everything she felt, you felt. It was so incredible to watch. Oliver Jacobson played the role of Oz, and I really again enjoyed that. I also enjoyed that all of his characters had completely different accents. Don't know why it amused me so much, but I really enjoyed it. Rounding out the cast, we have Dale Mathrin as Bob and Others, Nicholas Pound as Claude and Others, otherwise known as the man with many hats. It's the best way to describe the role of Claude and Others. Claude is basically the mayor of Gander, but the person who plays Claude is also the mayor of a million other places in the local area, because as the person who plays Bob says, there is basically a mayor for every space with about 100 people. And that means that the person who is Claude is basically someone who has to pretend to be various other different mayors for the various areas, and it just involves many a hat, and it's a funny little moment and I always enjoy it. Rounding off, we have got the role of Beverly, Annette and Others, who in my performance and also in the show is played by the one, the only Sarah Poyser. I recently, maybe not so recently, had the pleasure to see her singing in Mamma Mia as Donna, and it was lovely to see Sarah back in the Wolverhampton Grand singing another iconic role. The role of Beverly / Annette / any other people that that person does is a great role. The poignant song of Me in the Sky is always a great moment, and Sarah performed it absolutely brilliantly. I'm not gonna lie, I was also tapping when everyone else was tapping. The one thing that has always bugged me is that at the end of Me in the Sky, there is not that moment to pause and applaud, because the story continues. That is very much the case with the entirety of Come From Away. It's not a show that pauses after every song to get the applause. It's very much a one and done, if you will, and that after Welcome to the Rock there is never really a moment to pause and congratulate everyone on that stage until the end of the show, which obviously means you need to scream, shout, whoop, do everything, because they are incredible. For me, this show was never going to be anything more than a 5-star watch. It's a show that I will always go back to. I truly hope that this is not the end after the end of this tour. They need to bring it back in some shape or form, because it is just such an incredible show with such an important message, and I don't think I can be without it. It's just absolutely credible. For me personally, from the moment that first drum beat hit in at the start of Welcome to the Rock, I had tears in my eyes, which fell down my face quite regularly at various different times throughout the show. It was very much an emotional release for me seeing this show again. Like I said, from having past experiences and past memories to also having things that have happened since the show closes, which have also left it quite a poignant watch for me to watch, if you will. The tour continues until the 5th of January 2025, which sounds far away, but when you consider that we are almost at Christmas / December, it's really not that far away. Before I round out this video, I did just want to mention one more thing, and that is for something, if you are still to see this show, to be aware of, but if not, to bring attention to this thing. But basically, one person by the name of Lydia, she is on socials as Theatrical Lydia. She is currently touring with the tour, if you will, travelling around the UK, visiting various theatres and taking that key message of community and paying it forwards to do such amazing things for the various places this show sees. I am the worst explaining what Lydia is doing and why, because it always kind of makes me emotional. But basically, through this show, Lydia met another person by the name of Laura. Laura saw this show so many times in various places, both in the UK but also in different countries. Laura and Lydia had planned to see this tour when it happened. Laura also had plans to take this key message of pay it forwards and do random acts of kindness, if you will, during the entirety of the tour. Unfortunately, Laura passed away, and Lydia is doing this incredible thing and taking this message that this show has at its heart to the nation, if you will. For the Wolverhampton run, Lydia had picked the Good Shepherd charity, which helps with homelessness in our city. In different places she has different charities. She's picking a local charity for each place that she is visiting with the tour. So I will leave her socials down below so you can go and check it out, because it's just an absolute joy to see happening. And if you have the chance, it'd be a great thing to donate to. I literally legged after a person one of the front of house at the Grand, because I wanted to be able to do my thing and to honour Laura in this incredible way. So I wanted to mention it here so that it is something that you may not have been aware of but you want to join in with, as it's not something to like force on you. It's just something incredible that Lydia is doing, so I wanted to mention it. And now I'm going to stop because I will start crying. Like I said, I will leave Lydia's socials and also her just giving page if you want to donate in any way. But there we are. I'm going to round this video off because it's been kind of rambly, but that is the best way to be about a show you like. I feel like this video was never going to be a short one, because I am quite the fan of this show. I love its key message. I love everything about it. If I could, I'd see it every single week, but I think I'd be a husk of a person from the amount of tears that I would cry. But it's an incredible show. It hasn't got long left on its tour, but hopefully we will get some different but still the same iteration to see us through, because I feel like it can't go away from forever, especially in the times we are currently living. It's one of those shows that you just need in your life. Simple as. But there we go. I'm going to leave this video here, so thank you very much for watching. I am now going to go and chill out and warm up because it is absolutely freezing. But all that's left to say is the usual. Firstly, I love you all lots. Thank you for coming back and seeing me on your computer, phone, tablet, wherever you watch YouTube. Again, I will always be 100% grateful for your views. But yeah, that is pretty much that. I love you a lot. I hope you come back next time, and all that's left to say is the usual, which is this. So long, farewell, auf Wiedersehen, goodbye.